Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And we have finally reached the end of the Conqueror's Reminiscence Beatdown Battle reruns. We skipped Sparkle of Youth, and we got Warrior's Mind 2.0, and now Spirit Master, which was the 3.5 anniversary team. And this fight is Blue Orb focused. It has pretty much the same missions as we always do. 5 alive, 2 free-to-play characters, and then all magic units this time instead of physical. Starting hand is 2 greens and 4 blues. It's meant for a blue stacking team, but Milim only has 4 million HP, which is a bit more than normal. It cannot only had like 1.6 or something in the last fight. So 4 million is definitely something. But if you notice, only greens are nerfed, so you can use orange orbs, which means that this fight is essentially over. So, a little bit of synergy and crit resistance, not a lot. Lord's Ambition, reverse stats, protection seal, maybe, only if we get past like turn 8 or something. So, this fight really should not be that bad unless you're just starting out. So, I will have in the video description below links to 2 other videos I did when this originally came out 6 months ago for the 3.5 anniversary. So if the teams that I'm showing off today don't do it for you, you could look back onto some of those older teams and see if those can work a bit better. But I'm only going to be using teams that came out after Spirit Master, which is about 5 teams or so, which is generally what I do with these videos anyways. So let's jump in with some orange teams, because that's kind of funny. Alright, so starting off is a stacking orange meta, and that is Tales of Collab, using Shion, Hinata, Alf, and Rimuru, and then our second free-to-play character is Water Rimuru, so we can have a turn 1 convert, and then we've brought Divine General Diablo for synergy, and you really could do whoever you want with this team. But Hinata, being a strong single-target nuker, going to be type neutral, means that we can pretty easily nuke down this Milim with 4 million HP. We just need a little bit of time to get set up. So turn 1, this is why we brought Rimuru, because he will convert turn 1 into 6 blues, and that combined with our protection gauge traits means that we have a double Rimuru on turn 2. We don't need to use both of them on turn 2, because oranges won't cycle very well, because we're not bringing Blanc. If you want to, instead of Alphen, you could bring like a skill-fused wielder of magic Ranga, and he would have a 50% orange buff, so that would probably work a little bit better. I don't nuke with Alphen at all this fight, and his alt swap doesn't work for Hinata because she's dark. So this turn, I mean, yeah, we could do the convert here, and then try and steal. Doesn't quite work out, though. So we're still going to use Rimuru. We're still going to get a lot of points on these 5 oranges, because that's what Rimuru does. And we're going to get an ult for Hinata, and we can start stacking up her Dark Attack, and then next turn we could ult and get more Dark Attack. But ideally, you're going to want 270 points after a couple of turns to do the synergy, the crit, and then Hinata's own buff. And this hand, like, it's okay. It's not great, though. So I should have converted with Alphen first and swapped him out, but let's buff the greens even by a little bit, and then we'll use Rimuru to convert that 1, and then convert the 2 more greens, and then we can steal the rest. So we can at least have a kind of interesting hand for Hinata that's not fully nerfed. The greens still going to be nerfed by about 40% or something. The blues at least are normal. And we have a couple oranges to give us a little bit extra skill points. But we need to go at least until turn 5, because then we'll have 300 skill points, and we could use 3 big-time skills, and just an idea of how much alt gauge you're going to have at that point. So here, we can make this work, so we will steal. Boom, and then we have 1 Shion orb. So let's just bring Alphen in and convert that with him. And then we could not send the Hinata ult here, or we could, depending on how much alt gauge you have. Like right here, this whole hand will give us an EX ult on turn 5, so I'm not really in danger of like losing anything by sending the ult. And we're going to get extra Dark Attack from her ult as well. And now on going into turn 5, the debuff Lord's Ambition is gone, so we can debuff her with Hinata's crit resistance, and then we'll be looking pretty good. So take the ult, okay. I mean, if you're in danger of dying, you could use Shion's Resurrection State, but obviously we're doing fine. Milim doesn't really hit that hard here. So we'll bring Diablo and Shion in. Alphen doesn't even have an ult here, and then we'll have exactly enough points to do the 3 big time buffs. Don't even have another stack of Rimuru, but 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, and boom, and then we'll go ahead and ult. So 1, and then we'll send the Shion orbs. And Hinata does 4.4 million damage. And Milim only has like 4 and change. So pretty easy, 5 turns, very simple. Getting set up on turn 1 with that free-to-play Rimuru is really important. And then he also did come in handy for a couple other turns. So that can easily get the job done. Alright, next on the orange side of at least teams we haven't had to use before is, of course, Scourge Wielder. We've got Almizia, free-to-play Kigali, and Ranga in the event you don't have Blanc, who we are using, but if you don't have Blanc, you can use Ranga for the orange gauge increase. We've got Sokka for synergy. Even though she does have a little bit of synergy resistance, we can still get 80% out of it. And then Masayuki being AoE. It's fine. We have the Chaos Gimmick. Obviously, if you don't have Blanc, you can use some other kind of buffing character, alt damage, or crit, or pierce, or something, or Aegis. Really, if you have Velzard, you can just use Aegis. So it's not really important that you have Blanc here, but she is quite useful. So going into phase 1, we don't have anyone to convert turn 1. So we're just going to send the 4 blue orbs, and then combined with our protection gauge traits, we'll have access to Almizia on turn 2. So, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Actually, we don't even need that. We've already got it. So now, we're just looking for Masayuki orbs and or Sokka Blanc orbs. We have more Blanc orbs than anything else. So we're going to get her EX ult fairly quickly here. So we'll do the... let's see. Let's do the Chaos Gimmick. Let's do the Light and Dark Attack and the AoE, which this is only a single target fight, so the AoE is not nearly as important. And then we'll do Almizia to convert everything. And then I guess we can just run it like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's the EX ult for Blanc, so she's good. Masayuki only needs 1 more orb or so. So we could nuke on turn 4 and call it a day, because we're definitely going to do it. It's just that we only have 2 AoE ults, so if you're looking for a single target ult, then maybe you fish for more Sokka orbs than anything else, because she'll still get the synergy and the Blanc buff. She just won't get the light dark buff, because she's a space unit and is not naturally light or dark. Or you could bring, like, Fern or something instead of Blanc in general, and then you would really have a good character right there. So, because you have the magic attack, the light buff, the alt up and down. The physical buff wouldn't go anything for her, but I mean, if you have a single target Fern and the AoE Masayuki between those two, you're gonna nuke well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we have the EX ults for both of our DPS characters, and then we can nuke on turn 4 by using synergy and the Blanc buff. But on turn 4, Milim does have Lord's Ambition, so actually cannot get debuffed on turn 4. So we're not benefiting from Blanc's Dark Resistance down at all. Doesn't mean that we can't still nuke, it's just that our nuke isn't going to be as strong. So, either way, since we have 2 EX ults, we're going to be able to do it. But if you really wanted to do it, then just go to turn 5, wait for Lord's Ambition to be gone, and then you could do nuke and you get the full power of Blanc's skill. So, do 1 more Chaos Gimmick, but she's immune to it anyways. Just, showing off that don't waste the points. But Masayuki, 1.8 million, almost kills her, and then Blanc does 1.7. So there we go. There's Scourge Wielder in an unoptimized nuke setting, but still able to get the job done fairly easily. And a lot of these characters are, of course, replaceable. You do not need Blanc to run this team. Alright, next up is the Summer Memories meta. Full hand of rainbows. We've got Ifrit and Danmachi Sokka as the free-to-play units. And since this team is very much focused on Aegis, it fits in well with the beatdown battle, wanting an Aegis team and a Blue Orb team. We don't have to stack because we have quite a bit of power going for us. We just need to get an EX ult for Jeanne, and she can do 4 million damage pretty easily. So turn 1, we're starting with 36 skill points, so we could use the Rainbow Convert with Blanc and not have to worry about anything. We're not going to use the Enamor skill, though, until turn 2, because I just want to not get anyone's ult on this turn, so we don't have to use any unnecessary skills, and we can get 2 hands full of rainbows here, instead of 3 ults and 3 rainbows next turn. Unfortunately, we got another 2-2-2 spread. I was really hoping for an extra Jeanne orb in here, but oh well. So let's do the second rainbow. That's now 100% extra attack, and the Enamor. That'll last for 3 turns. It'll be active for turn 2, 3, and 4, so we can nuke on turn 4, assuming that we have everything that we need. And then we can actually get a stack of Sokka's magic attack, and then take her out and do Ifrit and get a stack of his magic attack, because we've got the points for it. So, use Guy, give us guaranteed Aegis, give us the 20 skill points. We don't have any multi-skill, so it's not like we can double stack on Ifrit or Sokka's buffs at all. But let's send 6, gets us up to 150. Still is a little bit shy of Jeanne's EX ult, but thankfully this team is not really based on debuffs, so we don't really care that she has Lord's Ambition on turn 4. And now we have quite a few Jeanne orbs, so that combined with the Enamor, even if we didn't do anything this turn, we would have the Enamor giving us ult gauge, and we would be fine. But if you need to lower Milim's health down a bit more, you could run the team like normal. And so we'll use the ult swap with Violet. We can use another stack of Ifrit if we really, really wanted to. We'll use Guy to convert everything to blues again. The 20 points is wasted because we're already capped out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we have the EX ult for Jeanne. So then we can nuke with the 3 skills, essentially. The EX ult, the normal ult and Enamor Strike, and then the single target attack and the Aegis power for speed characters. And then, of course, using Guy to give us that extra little 10% attack and guaranteed Aegis. Which I think the Aegis actually lasts for 2 turns, so we don't need to do it again, but we can get extra stacking attack out of it. So, plenty of skill points here, so might as well do 1, 2, and 3, and 4, even a stack of Ifrit as well, and then use Guy, nuke, and we're out of here. So, pretty easy. Summer Memories, I don't know if it's a feasible team for a lot of people, I don't know if they summon for it or not, but it definitely can do good damage. 5 million there, type neutral, 4 turns, looking good. Let's move on. Alright, next up is the Schemer team using the sword gimmick, which makes this very, very easy. We've got Soe, we've got Sokka, and we've got Laplace from the actual Schemer meta. I don't know why I keep thinking that Cleache is on Schemer, but she's not. She's on Antagonist, so don't bring Cleache. Bring someone else that is actually on Schemer. And then we've got Water Rimuru again, so we can get that turn 1 convert. Because greens are nerfed by a heavy amount here, it's not the best way to do this, but because the sword gimmick is just so strong, it really doesn't matter all that much. And then instead of bringing Schemer Lumi, we have brought Protector of Peace Hinata for the multi-hit on green orbs. So turn 1, gonna convert with Rimuru. We'll get a double Soe on turn 2, which is good because we're not gonna cycle him very quickly. So full hand of blues, bring Sokka in. We are starting with 46 skill points, so we can use the we could use the sword gimmick turn 1 and just get the maximum amount of hit stacks in, instead of just having the big 3 having a lot of protection gauge. This way we can ensure that we're really playing into the sword gimmick, but not exactly the most necessary thing, especially if you don't have Space Milim or Water Soe or Wind Lumi built up for their traits. You can just do the normal big 3, and you could just activate the sword gimmick on turn 2 if you wanted. But we want to make sure we're always hitting with Schemer characters, of course ignoring, again, the statement that Cleache is not actually on Schemer. You could bring, like, Visions of Coleus Violet. You could bring Maribel. Who else is on Schemer? I can never remember who else is on Schemer. Let me look it up while this is playing. Schemer. You could bring Murin, You could bring Primal Demon Rain or Glenda, or the free-to-play Dark Isis, Clayman. Yeah, you could bring Maribel if you really fucking wanted to. A bunch of Violets, Fire Violet, Primal Demon Blanc would work as well. So there are definitely options, and probably more helpful options than bringing friggin' Cleash. But we have to wait until turn 5, but we want to get the maximum amount of hits in, so we do want to play every turn like it's a real turn. We want to ensure that we've just activated the sword gimmick again, so we get the green buff for the next couple of turns as well. And then turn 4, we want to reactivate the multi-hit for Hinata, which we've been doing every turn because it lasts for 1 turn. But we also want to activate the follow-up attacks with Laplace again. And this being a full hand of greens is good. Alts don't really count that much because they don't get follow-up orbs or multi-hits, unfortunately. So, Soe, make everything green. We're raising Soka's attack up as much as possible because the swords are based off your attack stat on turn 5. So, we're on turn 4. We're up to 114 hits. 20, 21, 22, 24. Every time a schemer unit hits, you get double stack, essentially, so you get 2 hits instead of 1, which, you know, don't bring Cleash. Hit with Laplace and Soka more than anything else. Obviously, Rimuru and Hinata are not on schemer, so we'll use 1 more multi-hit here. That's all the points we have. The follow-up orbs are still activated from Laplace because he's good for 2 turns. So we'll send the ult, and then these orbs, and we're going to hit, I think with a counterattack, 150 exactly. So 20, 32, 35, 38, and this will be 40, 44 because the multi-hit, 6, 7, 8, 9, oh, because, no, double hit. Nice, we're exactly at 150, and now at the end of turn 5, blah, she's dead. There was like 30 swords that were doing 1 million damage apiece or something, so there's no way that she was living. So there's the schemer team. Green orbs, not really the greatest, but we have a very powerful gimmick to brute force our way through. And the final team I have for you today, the least effective team, is the Danmachi meta. So this is a green orb team, which green orbs are nerfed, and our DPS character is Wind, which is type disadvantaged. So realistically, don't use this team. But if this is your only option, then you're going to have to make do with it. So we've got Hestia, Bell, free-to-play Soka, free-to-play Water Rimuru yet again, and then Ice and Shuna. This team does not operate very well. And because we are nuking with type disadvantage, we need to go to turn 8, because we need to get that Pierce power from Bell to really enhance not only Ice's damage, but Earth Shuna. Because Shuna does have type advantage. The weakness strike stacks from Bell and herself will matter for her normal orb damage. It's just, it will only help her. And the stacks from Ice will only help her a little bit because she's not a wind character, but she is going to get weakness strike. So we do want to play this as standard as possible, trying to get the Ice EX ult because that's going to be very strong, and also trying to make sure we can make back a lot of points in a fight that isn't really built for us. And honestly, if you're going to run this team as it's built, I would probably swap Soka out for Geld. That way you have guaranteed skill points that are getting every single turn off the greens, because we're not bringing Ryu. If you have Ryu, your life becomes a lot easier. But in the event that you only have Ice as your mainline nuking character from Danmachi, like, this is the best you've got. If you don't have Ice but you have Ryu, that's actually probably a little bit better. Because her buffs, I think, are a lot stronger than what Ice is doing, since the wind attack is cool. We're already getting that from Hestia, and the weakness strike doesn't mean anything because it's a type disadvantage. So the attack and the wind plus damage from Ryu is much, much better buff. Plus you get the healing, plus you get the extra skill points and the magic stack for Ryu. She is going to be a much better character, but she's also the 5th character in the collab that I don't know people summon for because crystals are a thing. But it's turn 3. We're just not getting a lot of points off of green orbs, and not when every skill costs more and more. If you really, really want to do it, you'll bring Geld, and you'll take Hestia out, and you'll use Elmesia. Quite honestly. That's what you really should do. That's the better version of the team, is by using Elmesia and Geld instead of Sokka and Hestia, which is just another hilarious thing. But we kind of called it during Danmachi, where Hestia is a really, really good protector, but not for her own team, because it gets way too expensive. And Elmesia is just much, much better. And even though we don't have the protection buff from Hestia, we're not going to have it from Elmesia either. So Elmesia is just the better protector for this team build than anything else. So it lets you get a lot more stacks of Pierce, it lets you get a lot more stacks of Wind Attack from Ice. It's just more complete, at the cost of taking a little bit longer to run. And on the plus side, you don't have to bring Gazel. You don't have to deal with Gazel. You have converters in Geld, and you have a converter in Shuna, and you could use the multi-skill so you can convert multiple times if you need to, and you're going to get more points every turn because of Geld's skill. But we're up to turn 5. We have the EX ult with Ice. She can go away now. Let's do the green buff, and then we have to build back up to ideally 190 points, because that'll give us the stack of Bell on turn 8, 100 points. And then that'll give us access to Ice's skill, which is 90 points. Unfortunately, doesn't work out for us, because we only made 65 fucking points back right there. And using the green buff actually costs more than what we're having to do with Hestia giving us 110. So here, we can't do anything, so we just have to send unnerfed greens that get like 10 SP. It's pretty awful. So on turn 7... I don't want to send the Shuna ult, because I want that to have the Pierce and everything like that. I want that to be as strong as possible. So we're holding on to her ult, and now we're going to just convert with Sokka. We'll use Hestia now, and I was hoping that with this hand, we would get a full 190, but we are going to be at 188 after our traits kick in for Bell and Shuna. So we're 2 points shy. Maybe if you run your team a little bit better than me, or you use Elmesia, it'll be a lot easier. But we are just a couple points shy. But the most important thing is that we use the Pierce buff from Bell. So let's take Sokka out for Ice, and then we'll use just simply the Pierce skill. Now that it's turn 8, we get Pierce rate and Pierce power. We can get one more stack of the Wind Attack, I guess, for funsy onesies. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bell does 411. Decent. Shuna does 1.4 million, and then Ice 1.4 million. Does not have her personal buff, though, so she should be a lot stronger than that. But thankfully, we have Earth Shuna follow-up orbs that we're able to kill, and Milim only had a nut tap of HP left over anyways. But there are the 5 teams that came out after Spirit Master that you can use to clear it. Again, if none of these teams work for you, please check the description below and find the links to the older videos from 6 months ago that have other teams that I've used to clear it. Maybe those will help you out. And of course, if you've used anything else that I haven't shown off ever, please put that in the comments so other people can see that and try and build off of it. But that's it from me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.